Some places are so well hidden that maps have quietly forgotten them. This place is one of them. You wake in a quiet rainforest lodge, tucked deep beneath a roof of leaves and stars. Around you, tall walls of glass rise from dark timber floors to a high wooden ceiling, opening the room to the night without letting the rain inside. Beyond the glass, the rainforest moves in slow, silver shadows. Rain slides down enormous leaves. Mist drifts between tree trunks. Far above, the moon rests behind thin clouds, turning the wet canopy blue and green. Inside, everything is still. A woven chair hangs near the window. Large tropical plants lean peacefully in their pots. The wooden floor holds the last warmth of the day. You take one slow breath, and beyond the glass, the hidden rainforest seems to breathe with you. For a while, you simply listen. The rain does not fall loudly here. It travels. It slips from leaf to leaf, gathers along the ribs of giant plants, then drops softly onto the wooden deck outside. The sound is layered and slow, almost musical. One note on glass, one note on leaves, one note on the dark boards beyond the door. Through the window, the rainforest looks endless. Thick vines hang from branches like quiet curtains. Wide leaves shimmer under the moon. Tree trunks rise in the distance, softened by mist until they look almost like shadows painted onto the night. Nothing here asks you to hurry. The lodge holds you gently at the edge of the forest, close enough to feel its breath, safe enough to rest within it. On a low wooden table beside the woven chair, something glows. It is small enough that you almost miss it. A round glass bottle, sealed with a simple stopper, rests near the window where rain light flickers across the tabletop. Inside the bottle floats a tiny leaf, not pressed against the glass, not resting at the bottom, floating. Suspended in a clear, still shimmer, as if held by a dream. Its glow is soft and green, quiet as moss in moonlight. Fine silver lines run through the leaf like little rivers. You do not remember seeing the bottle before. Yet somehow, it does not feel strange. It feels as though it has been waiting here patiently, keeping one small piece of the rainforest awake. You lean closer. The bottle gives off no heat, yet the green light within it feels alive. Tiny motes drift around the leaf, rising and falling as slowly as dust in a sunbeam, though there is no sun here. Only moon, only rain, only the quiet pulse of the forest beyond the glass. The leaf turns gently inside the bottle. One side shines green, the other catches the silver of the moon. For a moment, it looks less like a leaf and more like a little map. Not a map of roads or rivers, a map of somewhere hidden, a place known only to rain, roots, sleeping flowers, and stars. The stopper lifts free with a sound softer than a sigh. At once, the scent of the rainforest unfolds into the room. Wet bark, clean stone, crushed leaves, night flowers opening somewhere unseen. The air changes, becoming cooler and deeper, as if the lodge has quietly drawn closer to the forest around it. A thin green mist rises from the mouth of the bottle. It does not spread quickly. It curls upward in slow ribbons, turning and folding through the moonlight. The plants inside the room seem to notice. Their leaves tilt slightly. The hanging chair sways once, almost imperceptibly. And outside, the rain grows softer, as if listening. Across the lodge, one panel of glass begins to clear. Not from rain, not from your touch. It simply becomes brighter, as if moonlight has gathered behind it. The forest beyond shifts into sharper focus. A path appears where there had only been leaves before. Narrow, mossy, half hidden beneath fern fronds and trailing vines. The glass panel slides open without a sound. Cool air moves into the room, carrying the hush of water dripping from high branches. You remain where you are for a moment, wrapped in the stillness of the lodge. Behind you, the bottle glows softly on the table. Ahead, the rainforest waits with quiet patience. You step through the open glass door onto the wooden deck. The boards are damp beneath your feet, smooth and cool from the rain. Above you, the roof of the lodge reaches out just far enough to shelter the doorway. Beyond it, the rainforest rises in every direction, layer upon layer of green, leaves glistening, branches swaying, mist drifting low between roots. The lodge behind you remains warm and quiet, a small refuge of wood and glass hidden in the trees. But the path ahead feels gentle too, not wild in a frightening way, wild like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. You take another step forward, and the deck gives way to moss. The air outside is different. It is not just damp, it is alive. Every breath carries the scent of leaves, rainwater, moss, and deep green places untouched by morning. The forest surrounds you without pressing close. It gives you space. A soft path winds ahead, edged by ferns whose tips sparkle with tiny droplets. High above, leaves overlap in great dark layers, catching most of the rain before it reaches the ground. Only now and then does a drop fall through, a silver bead slipping from the canopy, a cool touch on moss, a quiet sound in the dark. You follow the path slowly, letting the rainforest decide the rhythm. The path bends beneath leaves so enormous they seem to have been grown to shelter travelers. Rain gathers along their edges, then spills in delicate lines beyond the path. Underneath them, the world becomes quieter. The forest floor is soft with moss and fallen petals. Pale roots cross the ground in slow curves, guiding your steps without blocking the way. The leaves overhead shine dark green, almost blue, each one veined with faint silver. You pass beneath them as if entering a hall built by the forest itself. No walls, no doors, only leaves, rain, roots, and moonlight. And somewhere ahead, hidden deeper in the trees, the soft green glow seems to be waiting. Small flowers begin to open along the path. They are pale and delicate, shaped like shallow cups, each holding a single drop of rain. The drops glow faintly, blue, white, and green, reflecting pieces of sky you cannot yet see through the canopy. As you pass, the flowers turn with almost impossible softness, not toward you exactly, toward the movement of your breath, toward the warmth of life passing gently beside them. Their light is barely more than a whisper, but it is enough to mark the way. Behind you, the lodge has already vanished among leaves and mist. Ahead, the hidden rainforest continues beneath the sleeping sky. The ground rises in a gentle slope. Roots weave across it, broad and smooth, forming steps that seem too natural to have been made and too perfect to have happened by chance. You climb them slowly. Moss cushions each step. Rainwater threads through tiny channels in the bark, making silver lines that vanish into the earth. The forest grows taller around you. The trunks widen. The leaves above become deeper, darker, and farther away. Still, the path remains clear. It feels as though the rainforest is not leading you somewhere new. It is leading you somewhere remembered, a place waiting quietly inside the night. Beside the root steps, water begins to move. A narrow stream slips through the forest, clear and quiet, following the same slope as the path. You pause at its edge. Beneath the surface lie smooth stones touched with faint blue light. They do not shine brightly. They only glow enough to show the shape of the water moving over them. Rain taps the stream in tiny circles. Each circle opens, widens, fades. Another appears, then another. You watch the rhythm for a moment, and your thoughts begin to loosen, like leaves carried gently downstream. There is nowhere to be but here. There is nothing to solve, only water, moonlight, and the path continuing beside you. A break appears in the leaves above the stream, only a slender opening at first. A dark blue window cut into the canopy. Through it, you see the first stars. They are softened by mist, scattered lightly across the sky, as if someone has dusted the night with silver. The stream catches them, so do the wet leaves, so do the stones beneath the water. For a moment, the rainforest seems full of tiny skies, one above you, one below you, one trembling on every leaf. You stand beneath them all, breathing slowly, feeling the quiet wonder of this hidden place settle deeper into your body. The path leaves the stream and enters a passage of ferns. They are taller here, rising almost to shoulder height, their fronds fine and feathery. Each edge carries a silver sheen, catching the starlight that slips through the canopy. As you walk between them, they move with the gentlest sound, not brushing you, only stirring the air. The world becomes softer inside this fern passage. The stream fades behind you. The lodge feels distant now, folded safely into memory. Ahead, the rainforest opens itself one quiet step at a time. You feel no need to look back. The path is calm, the night is kind, and the stars are somewhere above, waiting. The trees beyond the ferns are immense. Their trunks rise wide and steady, dark with rain, wrapped in moss, vines, and small sleeping plants. Some roots arch above the ground like bridges. Some branches reach sideways into the mist before disappearing. Some hollows hold pools of rainwater that reflect tiny fragments of sky. You walk among them quietly. The forest does not feel empty. It feels deeply at rest. Like everything here is dreaming in its own slow way. The trees, the leaves, the stones, the water, even the shadows seem to sleep. And with every breath, you feel yourself becoming quieter too. Above you, the rain travels through the canopy. It does not simply fall. It gathers, slides, pauses, then releases itself in soft silver threads. You hear it moving from one layer of leaves to the next, crossing the forest roof like a quiet tide. The path curves around a mossy bank. Broad leaves lean over it, each shining with a dark green gloss. When the breeze passes through, droplets fall in slow patterns, almost like notes from a song you once knew, but cannot quite remember. You follow the curve of the path, feeling the rainforest settle around you. No hurry, no noise, only the deep green hush of night. Gradually, the trees begin to part. The path widens. The air brightens with moonlight. Ahead, a clearing appears in the forest, round and still, held between curving trunks and broad leaves. The rain is lighter here, more of a mist than a fall. It hangs in the open air, silver where the moon touches it, green where it passes over moss. At the center of the clearing lies a pool of dark water, smooth as glass, quiet as sleep. You approach without disturbing it. The trees around the clearing lean inward, not closing you in, but sheltering the space like hands cupped around something precious. You stop at the water's edge. The pool reflects the sky more clearly than the sky reveals itself. Stars shine in its dark surface. The moon rests there too, pale and calm, framed by the silhouettes of leaves. No ripple breaks the reflection. Even the mist seems to drift around the pool rather than across it. You look down and feel the quiet strangeness of it. Here, the rainforest does not hide the stars. It keeps them. It gathers them in water, in rain, in the silver veins of leaves. This place is not only beneath the sky, it is part of it, rooted below, open above, dreaming between both. A small green light appears on the water. At first, it looks like one of the reflected stars has changed color. Then it drifts closer. A tiny leaf floats across the pool, glowing softly from within. The same shape as the leaf in the bottle. The same silver veins. The same quiet pulse of green. It moves without current or wind, crossing the still water until it reaches the edge nearest you. There, it turns, not quickly, not sharply, just enough to point toward the far side of the clearing. You follow its direction and notice another path between the trees, one you are certain was not there before. Across the clearing, leaves begin to part. A hidden path opens in silence. It is narrower than the one you followed from the lodge, darker too, but lined with tiny blue flowers that glow faintly along the moss. Above it, the canopy breaks in thin spaces, allowing slivers of starlight to reach the ground. You look once more at the pool. The moon rests in its surface. The green leaf glows quietly at the edge. Then you turn toward the new path. The rainforest seems to grow even softer around you, as if welcoming you farther in. You step forward, deeper beneath the leaves, deeper beneath the stars, deeper into the hidden dream waiting beyond the clearing. The new path begins where the water ends. You leave the still pool behind, with the moon resting quietly in its surface and the tiny green leaf drifting near the edge. Ahead, the rainforest narrows into a corridor of wet leaves and hanging vines. The path is soft beneath you, covered in moss so thick that each step feels gentle and silent. Small blue flowers glow along the ground, not in a line, but in scattered clusters, like pieces of sky that have fallen between the roots. The air is cooler here, deeper. The sound of the pool fades behind you, replaced by distant dripping water, and the hush of leaves shifting high above. You continue forward beneath the stars, following the path that only appeared when the leaf showed the way. The flowers grow brighter as you walk. They are tiny and delicate, with petals so thin they almost seem made of light. Some grow between stones, some curl around roots, some rest in little pockets of moss, holding beads of rain at their centers. Their glow is soft, never sharp, blue at the edges, white at the heart, green where the light touches the leaves around them. You slow your steps, letting your gaze move from one small bloom to the next. The rainforest feels less like a place you are traveling through and more like a quiet dream opening itself a little at a time. Every flower is a small invitation. Every drop of rain holds a little star. A curtain of vines hangs across the path ahead. They sway slowly in the damp air, dark and glossy, threaded with drops of rain. You pause before them. Beyond the vines, the forest is softer and more blue, as if the moonlight gathers more strongly on the other side. The vines part as you reach them, not suddenly, not as though pushed by a hand. They lift and drift aside with the same quiet grace as underwater plants moving in a gentle current. For a moment, you stand between them, surrounded by green strands and silver droplets. Then you step through. Behind you, the vines fall back into place, closing the old path without a sound. On the other side, the path passes beneath a natural arch. Two leaning trees have grown toward one another over many years, their branches meeting above the trail. Between them, Rain falls in long, delicate strands. The strands shimmer in the moonlight like a curtain made of silver thread. You walk beneath it slowly. The water does not soak you. It seems to fall around you, soft and cool, touching leaves, roots, and stones instead. For a few quiet steps, the whole forest becomes sound, dripping, breathing, whispering. The arch behind you glows faintly in the mist, while ahead, the path slopes downward into a deeper shade of green. The path opens beside a wall of enormous leaves. They rise taller than you, layered one behind another, each one broad enough to hold the night. Rain gathers in their centers. In every pool of water, a star appears. Not a reflection of the sky above exactly, because the canopy is too thick here. Something stranger, something quieter, as though the rainforest has learned how to keep starlight in its leaves. You stand close enough to see the tiny silver points trembling in the water. A leaf tips slightly, the star slides to its edge. Then the drop falls, carrying its light down into the moss. For a moment, the ground glimmers where it lands. Then the glow fades back into green. A little farther on, you find a hollow beneath the roots of an ancient tree. The roots curve above the ground, forming a sheltered space just large enough to see inside. There is no lantern there, no fire, only a pale blue glow from clusters of tiny mushrooms growing along the damp wood. Their caps are round and soft, each one shining like a small moon. The hollow smells of moss, rain, and old earth. You kneel in the path for a moment and look within. Tiny ferns grow from the walls. A thin thread of water runs through the center. The whole hollow seems to be dreaming quietly under the tree, hidden from the wider world. The path reaches a narrow ravine. It is not deep, but mist gathers inside it, pale and slow, hiding the stones below. Across the ravine, roots have woven themselves into a natural bridge. They twist together, thick and steady, covered in moss and shining with rain. You place one foot onto the bridge. It feels solid beneath you. The roots curve gently upward, then down again, like the back of some sleeping creature. Below, the mist moves in quiet waves. Above, the leaves part just enough for a strip of stars to show through. You cross without hurry, feeling the bridge hold you safely as the hidden rainforest continues on the other side. Halfway across, you pause. The ravine below is filled with mist so smooth it looks almost like water. It drifts between rocks and roots, folding over itself in slow, silent layers. Here and there, tiny blue lights appear beneath it. Perhaps stones, perhaps flowers, perhaps something older than either. The mist catches the moonlight and turns silver at the edges. It rises just enough to touch the lower roots of the bridge, then falls away again. You watch it for a little while. There is no danger in it, only depth, only stillness, only the feeling of passing gently over a secret the forest is not quite ready to reveal. Beyond the bridge, the forest changes again. Ferns fill the path on both sides, but these are not like the silver ferns from before. These are lower, wider, and shaped almost like stars. Their fronds spread outward from the center in perfect green circles. At the tips of each frond, tiny drops of rain glow faintly white. As you walk between them, the ground seems scattered with constellations. Not above you this time, below, soft star shapes in moss and leaf. The path winds through them carefully, as if the forest itself does not wish to disturb their quiet pattern. You follow it, stepping slowly through a garden of green stars. The path begins to rise, branches thin above you, and for the first time since leaving the pool, more of the sky appears. Not all at once, only pieces. A blue opening between leaves, a silver star caught between vines, a cloud slowly passing behind the black outline of a branch. You walk beneath these small windows of sky, and each one seems to show a slightly different night. One full of stars, one softened by mist, one bright with moonlight, one almost dark. The rainforest is not shutting the sky away. It is revealing it carefully, a little at a time, just enough to keep you looking up, just enough to draw you onward. At the top of the rise, a single flat stone rests in the center of the path. It is smooth, dark, and wet with rain. Moonlight falls onto it through a perfect gap in the leaves. The stone shines softly, almost like polished glass. You stop before it. There are no markings on its surface, no words, no symbols, only water. Only light, only the clear reflection of the sky above. When you lean closer, you see stars inside the stone's rainwater sheen. They tremble whenever a drop falls from the canopy, then settle again. The stone is not a signpost. It is a pause, a quiet place where the forest asks you simply to notice. A soft rustle comes from a branch nearby. You turn your head slowly. Nestled beneath a wide leaf, a small bird sleeps. Its feathers are deep blue, almost black, with a faint silver sheen where moonlight touches them. It is tucked safely into itself, balanced on a branch covered in moss. A single drop of rain hangs from the leaf above it, shining like a bead of glass. The bird does not wake, it simply breathes, so quietly you can barely see the movement. The sight slows you. The forest is not empty at night. It is full of sleeping lives, hidden, safe, resting beneath leaves, roots, bark, and stars. The path grows quieter after that. Even the rain seems to soften. Around you, the leaves move in slow waves as the night breeze passes through them. One layer shifts, then another, then another. It feels almost as though the rainforest is breathing, not in a human way, in a larger way, a green, patient rhythm moving through branch and vine. You stand still and let yourself match it. Breath in, leaves lift. Breath out, leaves settle. The movement is so gentle that it becomes difficult to tell where your breathing ends and the breathing of the forest begins. A small web stretches between two fern stems. You notice it only because the rain has turned it into a necklace of silver beads. Each droplet holds a tiny reflection of the forest, a leaf, a star, a piece of moon. The web itself is almost invisible, delicate as a thought. No creature moves upon it. It hangs quietly in the shelter of the ferns, catching the night one drop at a time. You lean closer without touching it. The droplets shimmer. For a moment, the whole universe seems gathered in something fragile and small. Then the breeze moves. One bead slips down the thread, and the reflections change. The ferns fall away into a small clearing washed in blue light. Unlike the pool clearing, this place is dry beneath the canopy. The ground is covered in soft moss and tiny pale plants. In the center stands a fallen tree, its trunk smooth and silvered by age. It lies across the clearing like a long bench made by the forest. You sit for a moment. The moss gives gently beneath you. Above, the leaves hold back most of the rain, allowing only a fine mist to drift through. You rest there in the blue quiet, listening to the distant stream, the occasional drop, and the low hush of the rainforest all around. From where you sit, the rainforest looks different. Lower, closer, more intimate. You can see the underside of leaves, dark and veined with silver. You can see roots disappearing into moss. You can see little trails made by water as it finds its way around stones and stems. The fallen tree beneath you is cool and smooth. It feels ancient, but not sad. Nothing is wasted here. Even fallen wood becomes shelter, food, a place for moss to grow, a place for a traveler to rest. You place one hand lightly on the trunk and feel the quiet strength of something that has become part of the forest again. As you rest, a point of light moves above the canopy. It appears between two leaves, bright and brief, slipping across the small piece of sky overhead. A falling star. You do not make a wish, you only watch. It disappears behind a veil of mist, leaving the sky exactly as quiet as before. Yet the clearing feels changed, as though the rainforest noticed it too. A few droplets fall from the leaves above, each one catching the last silver memory of the star. They land softly in the moss, one after another, tiny lights returning to earth. When you rise again, another path waits at the far side of the clearing. This one is marked not by stones or flowers, but by pale roots. They wind across the ground in long, smooth lines, almost white in the moonlight. Some sink beneath the moss, some rise above it, some cross one another like quiet threads. You follow them away from the clearing, letting their soft curves guide you. The forest grows darker on either side, but the roots remain visible, pale and calm, not glowing exactly, just holding the moonlight well enough to show where your next step belongs. The pale roots lead to a place where the ground rises sharply. Ahead, a fallen branch has formed a natural bridge between two mossy banks. It is broad enough to walk across, worn smooth by rain, and wrapped in tiny climbing plants. Below it, the forest floor drops away into darkness, not far. Only enough to make the bridge feel suspended between lower leaves and higher ones. You step onto it carefully. From here, you can see deeper into the rainforest. Layers of branches, sheets of mist, small openings of starlight. The path has begun to lift you, almost without you noticing, higher into the hidden forest, closer to the canopy, closer to the stars. On the other side of the bridge, the air feels lighter. The trees are still immense, but the path now follows a ridge of roots and moss above the lower forest. You can hear water far below. You can see mist moving between trunks beneath you. And above, the canopy no longer feels like a roof. It feels like a staircase, layer after layer of leaves rising toward the night sky. You walk slowly along the ridge, feeling the hidden rainforest begin to change around you. The world below grows softer, the stars above grow clearer. And somewhere ahead, beyond the next veil of leaves, the forest seems to be lifting you toward its quiet, moonlit heights. The ridge carries you onward above the lower forest. Mist drifts beneath you in slow blue sheets, weaving between trunks and roots far below. The path is narrow but steady. Moss softens the ground. Pale roots hold the ridge together like quiet fingers. On either side, leaves rise and fall in layered waves, but above you, the canopy has begun to loosen. More sky appears now, not just glimpses, but gentle openings where stars gather in soft clusters. You walk slowly, feeling the rainforest become lighter around you. The hidden world below is still close, still breathing, but the night sky feels closer too, as if each step along the ridge brings you nearer to the stars. You pause where the ridge widens. For the first time, you can see the rainforest in layers. Below, broad leaves overlap like dark green waves. Beyond them, taller trees rise through mist. Above them, the sky stretches deep and blue, scattered with stars. The moon is hidden for now, behind a veil of cloud, so the starlight feels clearer, softer, more delicate. You look down and see drops of rain shining on leaves far beneath you. You look up and see stars shining in the quiet spaces above. For a moment, it is difficult to tell which lights belong to the forest and which belong to the sky. Everything glimmers, everything rests, Everything feels connected. Ahead, the ridge bends toward a cluster of ancient trees. Their branches grow close together, crossing and curving in gentle arcs. Some are broad enough to walk beside. Some rise above the path like steps. Some are wrapped in moss so thick they look soft as velvet. The forest seems to have made a staircase without meaning to. Not built, grown. You follow it carefully as the path lifts again. The air grows cooler. The mist falls farther below. Vines hang beside you, not blocking the way, but swaying gently like curtains in a room made of leaves. The stars appear between the branches, bright and still, waiting above the next turn. You step onto the first great branch. It is wider than it looked from below, smooth in the center and cushioned at the edges with moss. Rainwater rests in shallow grooves along the bark, reflecting little pieces of sky. As you walk, the branch curves gently upward around the trunk. The tree beside you is enormous. Its bark is dark, wet, and ridged, with tiny ferns growing from every sheltered crease. You trail your gaze along the trunk as it rises into shadow, higher and higher, past leaves, past vines, toward a place where the canopy thins and the night waits open above. The branch leads to a natural balcony in the canopy. It is formed by roots, vines, and overlapping limbs, all woven together over time. You stand there quietly, surrounded by leaves on every side. Some are close enough to touch. Others spread far below like the roof of another world. The mist below glows faintly blue. The sky above is clearer than before. A soft breeze passes through the canopy, and hundreds of leaves turn their wet faces toward the stars. No sound breaks the moment. Only the distant water far below. Only the rain dripping gently from hidden places. Only the soft feeling of being held between earth and sky. At the edge of the balcony, a cluster of small leaves catches your attention. They grow in a pattern unlike the others. 7 leaves on one stem, then 5 on another, then 3 bright droplets resting along a curved vine. The shapes are simple, but somehow familiar, like stars arranged into pictures, a tiny constellation made of leaves. You lean closer. The raindrops at the tips reflect the sky so clearly that they seem to hold actual stars inside them. One droplet trembles, another brightens. The little pattern shifts as the leaves move in the breeze, changing from one shape to another. The rainforest is not copying the sky. It is dreaming with it. Beyond the balcony, the path narrows again. It follows a thick branch toward a hollow between 2 trees. There, held in a cradle of roots high above the forest floor, is a small pool of rainwater. It should not be there, and yet it rests perfectly still, dark, smooth, reflecting the sky. You kneel beside it and look down. Stars shimmer in the water. Clouds drift across its surface. A tiny fallen petal floats near the edge, barely moving. The pool is no wider than a basin, but it feels as deep as night. Another small sky, hidden in the branches. The petal turns slowly on the little pool. It is pale blue, almost white, with a soft green edge. As it drifts, it crosses the reflection of a bright star. For one quiet moment, the star seems to rest inside the petal. Then the petal moves on. The reflection returns to water. You watch without reaching for it. There is nothing to change here, nothing to keep. The moment is gentle because it passes. Rain gathers on a leaf above, then falls into the pool with a quiet sound. The stars ripple. The petal rocks once, and slowly the little sky becomes still again. You rise and continue. The path climbs along another branch, then another, each one leading gently upward. The rain is lighter here. Much of it falls below you now, whispering through the lower leaves, while only a fine mist reaches the canopy path. The air feels open, clean, almost silver. You look back and see the lower rainforest blurred beneath layers of drifting vapor. It seems quiet and distant, though you know it is still close. Ahead, the branches form a slender walkway through the high green. Not straight, not built, just naturally connected, as though the trees have always known where the path should go. The moon returns slowly. At first, it is only a pale glow behind a cluster of leaves. Then the clouds thin, the leaves become silhouettes. And the moon appears between them, round and calm, resting in a gap of deep blue sky. You stop beneath it. The branch path ahead is washed in silver. Water droplets on the leaves glow like tiny moons of their own. The rainforest grows quiet, as if making room for the light. You do not need to move for a while. You simply stand there, high in the canopy, watching the moon shine through wet leaves, feeling the whole forest soften beneath its glow. A breeze moves through the canopy. It is cooler than the air below, and it carries a scent of rain, leaves, and open sky. The vines sway lightly. The small plants growing along the branches tremble. Far below, the mist shifts between the trunks like a slow tide. Above, the stars remain still. You listen to the wind moving through leaf after leaf, and it feels different from the rain. Lighter, higher, almost like a whisper from the sky itself. The branch beneath your feet is steady. The night around you is wide. And for a moment, the rainforest seems suspended in a single deep breath. The path leads around a bend and into a sheltered nook of branches. There, moonflowers grow in a wide nest of leaves. Their petals are larger than the flowers below, soft and pale, opening slowly to the night. Each bloom faces upward. Each one holds a little silver light. The flowers do not glow brightly. They seem to gather moonlight instead, folding it into their petals as rain gathers in leaves. You stand beside them and feel the quiet patience of things that only open in darkness. No one has planted them here. No one has arranged them. They simply belong. A nest of pale flowers high in the hidden rainforest, waiting for the stars. You lean closer to one moonflower. Its petals are thin but strong, curved gently like a shallow bowl. A single drop of rain rests at the center. Inside the drop, the moon appears upside down, small, perfect, a tiny round world held by a flower. Around the drop, the petals' veins shine faintly silver. You watch the reflection tremble, then settle. There is something comforting in the smallness of it. The moon above is vast, the flower is delicate, and yet, for this moment, the flower holds the moon as gently as the sky does. Beyond the moonflowers, the branches begin to align. One curves into the next. A root thickens at just the right place. A vine loops like a gentle rail. The path is still natural, still wild, but it is becoming clearer now, as though the rainforest is guiding you with more confidence. You follow the living walkway through the high leaves. Below, the lower forest has become a soft darkness filled with mist. Above, the stars gather in brighter clusters. There is still no sign of where the path will end. But you feel it now, the quiet pull of something waiting ahead. Something high, something open, something touched by starlight. At first, you think the shape ahead is only another branch. A darker line among the leaves. Then you see it again, straighter than a branch, smoother than bark. Partly hidden behind hanging vines, something wooden rests between two trees. Not a cabin, not yet. Only a piece of railing, perhaps, or the edge of a platform. It is old, rain dark, and covered in moss, as if the forest has been keeping its secret for a very long time. You slow your steps. The path continues toward it. The stars above shine a little clearer, and the rainforest, which has been gently guiding you all night, now seems to grow even quieter. A few steps farther, the wooden shape becomes clearer. It is a small platform built around the trunk of a great tree. The wood is old but strong, silvered by rain, softened by moss. Its edges are almost swallowed by leaves, so that it seems less built than grown into place. You step onto it carefully. The surface creaks only once, very softly, then settles beneath you. From here, you can see branches crossing in every direction. Some natural, some shaped long ago by careful hands. The hidden rainforest has not only lifted you toward the stars, it has brought you to something waiting among them. A narrow stairway curves around the tree. Its steps are wooden, dark with rain, and half covered by little ferns. They spiral upward only a short way before vanishing behind leaves. There are no railings except vines, no lamps, no signs, only the soft pale light of the moon and the small silver reflections resting in the rain. You begin to climb, one step, then another. The tree trunk stays close at your side, steady and immense. With every step, the forest below grows quieter, the stars above grow wider, and the air takes on the cool, open feeling of very high places. The stairway ends at another small landing. Here, wood and leaves are so closely woven together that you can hardly tell where one begins and the other ends. Branches grow through the platform. Vines wrap around beams. Moss softens every corner. And above it all, an opening in the canopy reveals a wide bowl of stars. You stand beneath it quietly. The stars feel nearer now, not because they are closer, but because nothing seems to stand between you and them. The rainforest no longer hides the sky. It frames it, holds it, offers it gently upward. At the far side of the landing, the leaves form a round opening, not perfectly round, but close enough to feel intentional. Through it, the sky looks deeper than before. A cluster of stars rests in the center of the opening, bright and delicate. Vines hang around the edges like a natural frame. You step closer. The round window fills your view. Rainwater slips from the leaves at its edge, falling away into darkness before it reaches the ground. For a moment, you imagine that the forest is showing you where to look, not at the whole sky, only at this one quiet cluster of stars, only at the next small wonder. Beside the round window of sky, something rests behind a curtain of vines. A shape darker than leaves, straighter than branches. You part the vines gently. Behind them is a door, small, wooden, weathered by rain and time. It is set into the side of the great tree, so carefully hidden that the forest seems to have grown around it on purpose. There is no handle you recognize, only a smooth hollow in the wood, shaped like a leaf. You place your palm there. The door gives a quiet breath. Then it opens inward, revealing a soft darkness beyond. Not empty darkness, waiting darkness, cool, still, and touched faintly by starlight. The door opens inward without a sound. Beyond it, the darkness is cool and still. You step carefully inside, and the air changes at once. The scent of rain is still there, but now it is mixed with old wood, damp moss, and the deep green smell of roots hidden from daylight. The inside of the tree is wider than it seemed from outside. Not a room exactly, a hollow. A quiet space held within the living trunk. The walls curve around you, dark and ridged, glistening faintly where rain has found its way through tiny cracks. Above, small openings in the bark allow threads of starlight to enter. They do not brighten the hollow much. They only touch it gently. Here and there, little silver points rest on moss, on roots, on the smooth places where the wood has been worn by time. Behind you, the hidden door remains open. Ahead, the hollow turns softly upward. The tree is inviting you farther in. The door eases closed behind you. It does not shut with a click. It settles softly, like a leaf coming to rest. For a moment, you stand still and listen. The tree is not silent. It has its own quiet sounds. A faint drip of water, a slow creak from somewhere high above, the soft movement of air passing through hollows in the trunk. It feels almost like breathing, not the breathing of an animal, the breathing of wood, moss, rain, and time. A narrow passage curves away from the hollow, shaped by roots that have grown around one another in gentle layers. The floor is smooth with damp moss. The walls shine faintly where starlight catches the grain of the bark. You follow the passage slowly. Each step feels cushioned. Each breath feels cooler than the last. The rainforest outside is hidden now, but you can still feel it all around you, holding this secret place within its heart. The passage narrows into a corridor of roots. They twist along the walls and ceiling, some smooth, some rough, some wrapped in moss as soft as velvet. The path is not straight. It bends gently, following the natural shape of the tree. Small pools of rainwater rest in hollows along the floor. When you pass them, they catch tiny reflections of the stars outside, as if the sky has slipped into the tree one drop at a time. The corridor smells of wet earth and old leaves. Now and then, the wood opens just enough for a thin blade of moonlight to cross the path. You move through the quiet without hurry. There is no need to rush. This place feels as though it has waited for a very long time. And now that you are here, it seems content to let you pass slowly, one soft step after another. The root corridor opens into a taller space. Here, the inside of the trunk rises above you in a slow spiral. Roots and old wooden steps curve around the inner wall, climbing upward into darkness. They are not perfectly even. Some are broad, some are narrow, some are simply roots that have grown into the shape of steps over time. Everything is damp, but not slippery. Moss softens the edges. Tiny ferns grow between cracks in the wood. Above, faint stars appear through small openings, scattered like distant dust. You place your foot on the first step and begin to climb. The spiral turns gently. The world outside disappears and returns in glimpses. A leaf, a vine, a patch of blue sky, a cluster of stars, then wood again, root again, breath again. The tree carries you upward in silence. As you climb, the walls begin to change. Small openings appear in the bark, each one shaped a little like a leaf. Some are narrow, Some are wider, some are only thin cuts where moonlight slips through in pale blue lines. Through one, you see the rainforest far below, softened by drifting mist. Through another, you see wet leaves pressed close to the trunk, trembling in the night breeze. Through another, you see only sky, deep blue, wide, quiet. The openings make the tree feel less enclosed, as though the hollow is breathing with the world outside. You pause beside one of them and look out. A vine sways slowly across the view. Beyond it, stars glimmer between leaves. You are inside the tree, but the night has followed you in. The spiral staircase leads to a chamber within the tree. It is round and low-ceilinged, with roots crossing the floor like gentle ridges. At the center lies a shallow pool of dark water. It is so still that it seems untouched by air. The pool has gathered beneath a narrow opening high above, where rain must fall drop by drop whenever the clouds pass over. Tonight, no rain falls into it, only starlight. The water holds the sky perfectly. You step closer and look down. The reflected stars do not seem distant here. They seem near enough to rest beneath the surface. The chamber is quiet around them. Roots curve protectively along the edges of the pool. Moss glows softly in the moonlight. And for a while, you simply watch the hidden water holding the hidden sky. A single drop falls from somewhere above. It lands in the center of the pool with the softest sound. The stars tremble, not much, only enough to blur, widen, and return. Then another drop falls. This one catches the light as it descends, silver all the way down. You look upward and see a narrow thread of water sliding through a crack in the hollow trunk. It is not a stream, not even a trickle, just a quiet thread of rain finding its way through the tree. The droplets fall slowly, one after another, each carrying a tiny piece of starlight into the pool. The chamber seems to listen. The roots seem to listen. Even the moss appears still. And in the gentle rhythm of falling water, the inside of the tree becomes softer, deeper, and more peaceful than before. On the far side of the chamber, the wall curves inward. There, natural shelves have formed from old bark and thick roots. They hold simple things: smooth stones, empty seed pods, small fallen feathers, shell-like pieces of pale bark curled by rain and time. Nothing is labeled. Nothing is arranged too neatly. It feels less like a collection and more like the tree has kept a few gentle memories from the forest around it. You look over them quietly. A smooth stone catches the moonlight. A seed pod rocks slightly in a passing breath of air. A curled piece of bark holds a bead of rain inside it, like a tiny cup. There is no need to touch anything. You only stand there, feeling the stillness of all these small things resting together in the dark. As you turn back toward the spiral path, something glimmers beside you. At first, you think it is more starlight entering through cracks in the bark, but then you see it is moss. A patch of dark green moss spreads across the inner wall, and within it, hundreds of tiny droplets rest on the tips of the smallest stems. Each droplet catches a speck of sky. Together, they look like a little night scattered across the bark. A star field growing from the tree itself. You lean closer. The droplets are still. The moss is soft and quiet. Beyond it, the wall curves upward into shadow. The real stars are far above, but here they have been echoed in miniature, not copied, not captured, only remembered. The rainforest carries the sky in whatever way it can. The path continues into a small alcove shaped by roots. It curves outward from the trunk like a quiet place made for listening. A narrow opening runs along one side, revealing the rainforest beyond. You step into the alcove and pause. Outside, the canopy moves gently in the wind. Leaves rise and fall. Mist shifts through the branches below. Somewhere far away, water continues its steady journey through the hidden forest. Inside, the tree holds the sound differently, softer, rounder, as though every distant noise has been wrapped in moss before reaching you. The stars are visible through the narrow opening, but they do not pull your attention all at once. Instead, they wait quietly, the way the forest waits, the way sleep waits, patient, gentle, certain. Beyond the alcove, the tree opens again. This hollow is higher and wider than the first. The ceiling rises into darkness, crossed by roots and branches that seem to belong both inside and outside at once. Small openings scatter across the upper walls. Through them, starlight enters in pale fragments. The floor is made of old wood, roots, and soft patches of moss, all joined together by time. You step into the center of the hollow and look up. The scattered openings above resemble a sky of their own. Tiny points, soft lines, dark spaces between them. For a moment, it is difficult to know whether you are looking at the inside of a tree or the underside of the night. The higher you climb, the more the two begin to feel the same. On one side of the upper hollow, vines have grown across a large opening. They overlap in soft loops, crossing one another like threads in a living fabric. Leaves cling to them. Drops of rain hang from their tips. Beyond the woven vines, the sky is bright with stars. You move closer. The vines do not block the view. They frame it. They soften it. They turn the sky into something you can look at slowly. A cluster of stars rests beyond the leaves, delicate and blue-white. The mist below drifts in gentle layers, barely visible through the lower part of the opening. The window has no glass, no frame made by tools, only vines, leaves, water, and night. It is enough, more than enough. Near the woven window, leaves have fallen across the floor. They rest in a loose pattern over the moss and old wood. Some are long and narrow, some are broad and dark, some hold small silver droplets. You look down and notice how the droplets line up with the stars outside. Not exactly, not perfectly, but gently enough to feel meaningful. A pattern made by accident or by the quiet patience of rain. It looks almost like a map, though nothing has been drawn. Nothing has been written. Nothing needs to be explained. The leaves show no names. The stars offer no instructions. Yet the pattern gives you the feeling of being guided. Not by words, by small lights, by soft shapes, by the simple sense that the path still knows where it is going. Clouds shift somewhere outside. A pale moonbeam enters the hollow. It slips through an opening above and crosses the floor in a long silver path. The beam touches moss, then root, then dark wet wood. Where it passes over the fallen leaves, each droplet brightens for a moment. The whole room seems to wake very gently, not brightly, not suddenly, only enough for shapes to appear more clearly. The curved walls, the woven vines, the spiral path waiting on the far side. You stand where the moonbeam crosses your way and let the light settle around you. It feels cool, almost weightless. The rainforest outside continues to breathe in mist and rain. Inside the tree, the moonlight waits calmly at your feet, pointing onward without a sound. The moonlit path leads into another chamber. This one is more open than the others. Part of the wall has grown away, leaving a wide view of the sky beyond the canopy. Branches curve around the opening, like the edges of a bowl. Vines hang down in loose strands. Leaves frame the stars without hiding them. You step into the room and feel the air become cooler, more open. The chamber seems to exist for only one purpose: to watch the sky. There are no tools here, no markings, no signs of needing to measure or understand anything. Only a place to stand, a place to breathe, a place to look upward and let the stars be stars. The tree holds you quietly while the night opens beyond it. A passage curves away from the sky-watching room. It is narrow and higher than the others, following the inside edge of the tree near its crown. Here, the trunk is no longer completely enclosed. Branches pass through the walls. Leaves grow close to the path. Moonlight and starlight enter from many small openings at once. You can feel the height now, not in a frightening way, in an open, floating way. The forest below is hidden by layers of leaves and mist, but its presence remains steady beneath you. The passage bends around the inner curve of the trunk. Roots form natural steps. Vines hang beside you. The air smells of rain and sky. You continue forward, slowly and calmly, following the highest part of the hidden tree. The crown passage ends at another opening. This one has no door, only a curtain of leaves, wet and dark, hanging across the way. Beyond them, you can see a softer light, not bright, not warm, silver, the kind of light that gathers where moonlight touches rain. You move the leaves aside and look out. A narrow wooden threshold waits beyond the trunk, half covered in moss. It extends into the canopy, supported by branches and old roots. Rainwater shines along its edge. The stars beyond it appear clearer than before. You step onto the threshold and feel the air open around you. The hollow tree is behind you now. The upper forest is ahead, and somewhere beyond the leaves, something wide and quiet is waiting. The threshold leads to a balcony made from roots and old wood. It curves around the outside of the tree, high above the forest. There is a low, natural rail where vines have wrapped themselves around weathered branches. Moss grows between the boards. Small leaves sprout from the places where wood has softened with rain. You stand at the edge and look out. The rainforest spreads beneath you in deep blue layers. Mist rests among the treetops like a slow, sleeping sea. The stars above are clear and bright. For the first time, the sky feels larger than the forest. Not stronger, not separate, only wider. The tree holds the balcony steady beneath you. The night opens in every direction, and you feel the quiet lift of being almost above the canopy. From the balcony, the lower rainforest looks different. Not smaller, never smaller, only softer. The sharp edges of leaves have disappeared into mist. The trunks below are hidden. The roots, the pools, the bridges, the glowing flowers, the rain-dark paths. All of it has become one vast breathing green. A sleeping green. You remember walking beneath it, then through it, then above it. Now it rests below you, like a dream you have gently climbed out of, though you are still held within it. Above, the stars shimmer without hurry. Below, the forest exhales mist. Between the two, you stand quietly at the edge of the hidden balcony, not leaving the rainforest, only seeing how far it reaches, down into darkness, up into sky, everywhere. At the far end of the balcony, another path begins. It is not hidden now. It waits openly beneath the stars. A narrow walkway of roots, branches, and old rain-silvered wood stretches away from the tree and into the high canopy. Leaves frame it on either side. Vines hang like dark curtains. Beyond them, the sky opens wider than before. You cannot see where the walkway ends. It curves gently upward and disappears into a bright gap between branches, where starlight gathers like mist. The tree behind you is quiet. The rainforest below is quiet. Even the rain seems to pause. You take one slow breath, then another. The path ahead feels calm, certain, almost weightless, and with the stars shining softly above it, you begin to follow the walkway onward. The walkway carries you away from the great tree. It is narrow, but steady beneath your feet. Old wood, roots, and living branches have grown together so closely that the path feels neither built nor wild, but something in between. A quiet agreement between forest and time. On either side, leaves fall away into blue darkness. Vines hang below the walkway like long shadows, disappearing into mist before you can see where they end. Above, the stars spread wider with every step. The roof of the rainforest is no longer above you. It is around you, behind you, beneath you. The air feels cooler here, touched by rain and moonlight. You walk slowly, listening to the soft creak of wet wood, the distant whisper of leaves below, and the gentle silence waiting ahead. Ahead, the walkway passes beneath an arch of leaves. It has not been built. Branches from both sides have leaned toward one another over many seasons, joining gently above the path. Their leaves are broad, dark, and wet with rain. Droplets hang from their tips, each one holding a tiny piece of moonlight. You slow as you pass beneath them. The arch is low enough to feel sheltered, but open enough to show the stars beyond. For a moment, the path ahead looks like a doorway made only of green. No handle, no wall, no threshold except shadow and silver light. You step through it quietly. Behind you, the leaves continue to drip. Ahead, the sky opens wider, and the hidden rainforest seems to welcome you into its highest secret. Beyond the arch, small ferns grow along the edges of the walkway. Their fronds are delicate and pale at the tips, catching moonlight so softly that they seem dusted with silver. They lean outward over the mist, trembling whenever the breeze passes. Some hold tiny droplets, some hold only light. When you look closely, the fern tips appear to echo the stars above. Little branching shapes, little green constellations. The sky is vast, but the forest answers it in small ways. A droplet brightens. A fern shifts. A star glimmers between leaves. You continue forward, and the star ferns line the path like quiet companions, not lighting the way, but reminding you that the way is still there, soft, silent, certain. The walkway bends around a cluster of high branches. Here, the leaves are larger than any you have seen before. They rise on long stems beside the path, turned upward as if listening to the sky. Rain has gathered in their centers. Each leaf holds a shallow pool of silver blue water. When the breeze moves, the pools tremble. Stars ripple inside them. The leaves seem calm and attentive, as though they have spent all night listening to the quiet language of rain, wind, and starlight. You pause among them. No sound feels separate here. The rustle of leaves, the drip of water, the distant murmur of the hidden forest far below. Everything belongs to the same hush. You breathe slowly. The leaves listen. The night listens, and the path waits without asking you to hurry. The walkway rises gently. One branch lifts into another. One root becomes a step. One board settles into a curve of moss. Then the leaves on either side lower, and suddenly you can see far across the rainforest. The canopy stretches below you like a dark green sea. Mist drifts over it in pale blue waves. Here and there, the tallest trees rise through the mist like quiet islands. The sky above is wide and deep. Stars scatter across it without end. You stand still, letting the view open inside you. Below is every path you have walked, every route, every pool, every hidden bridge. Above is every star you have followed. Between them, you feel small in the gentlest way, held by both, lost in neither. Far below, a river of mist moves between the treetops. It follows the hidden valleys of the rainforest, winding slowly through darkness. You cannot see the water beneath it, but you can feel its shape. A pale ribbon, a quiet current, a path made of breath and moonlight. The mist catches the starlight softly, brightening in places, fading in others. It moves so slowly that at first you wonder if it is moving at all. Then a gap opens between two trees. Another closes behind it. The whole forest shifts in its sleep. You rest your attention on that gentle movement. Nothing here is hurried, not the mist, not the stars, not the breath in your chest. Everything drifts, everything softens, everything continues. The walkway ends at the crown of an ancient tree. Its highest branches spread outward in a wide circle, forming a natural platform of roots, moss, and woven limbs. There is no roof here, only sky. Leaves frame the edges, but they do not close in. The moon hangs above the crown, pale and calm. Stars gather all around it. You step onto the open platform and feel the height without fear. The tree is strong beneath you. The forest is soft below you. The sky is quiet above you. This place feels like the point where the rainforest has been leading all along. Not away from itself, not out of the world, only higher into its own silence, a hidden crown beneath the stars. At the center of the crown, the branches widen into a garden. Small plants grow in pockets of moss. Pale flowers rest among dark leaves. Tiny ferns curl around pools of rainwater gathered in the hollows of roots. Nothing is arranged in rows. Nothing is shaped too neatly. The garden has grown here slowly, held by the tree and fed by rain. A sky garden, high above the lower forest, close enough to the stars to feel touched by them. You walk through it with quiet care. The flowers turn upward. The leaves hold silver light. The pools reflect pieces of the night. Everywhere you look, the rainforest and the sky are meeting in small, patient ways. The garden does not glow. It rests. It listens. It dreams beneath the moon. A little farther in, the moonflowers appear again. This time, they grow in a wide circle around a shallow hollow of moss. Their pale petals are open fully now, lifted toward the sky. Rain rests along their edges. Moonlight settles in their centers. You stand at the edge of the circle and look down. The moss in the middle is soft and deep, touched with silver where droplets have gathered. The flowers do not surround it like a wall. They surround it like a gentle thought. A place kept safe, a place meant for resting. Above the circle, the stars are clear. Below it, the tree is steady. Around it, the rainforest breathes slowly in its sleep. The path has become softer now, less like a path, more like an invitation. The mossy hollow is shaped by roots. They curve around it gently, like the sides of a natural bed. Soft leaves have gathered there. A few pale petals rest on the moss. Rainwater shines in tiny beads along the roots, but the hollow itself is dry and sheltered beneath a fan of broad leaves. You kneel beside it for a moment, listening. There is no voice, no instruction. Only the quiet sense that the forest has prepared a place for sleep. You sit carefully at the edge. The moss gives beneath you, cool, soft, alive. Above, the stars are visible through the open crown. Beside you, moonflowers turn their faces to the sky. Far below, the hidden rainforest murmurs in mist and leaves. Everything is ready. Nothing is urgent. You settle into the hollow. The moss supports you as gently as folded cloth. The leaves around you rise just enough to make the high garden feel sheltered, but not closed. You can still see the sky. You can still feel the air. You can still hear the far, soft movement of the rainforest below. A breeze passes over the crown of the tree. The moonflowers move slightly. A droplet slips from one petal and falls into a root hollow nearby. The sound is small and clear. Then everything becomes quiet again. You let your shoulders soften. You let your thoughts loosen. There is nowhere else to go tonight. The path has brought you here. The forest has lifted you here. And now the sky is above you, calm and endless. From this high place, the rainforest sounds different. The rain below becomes a soft hush. The leaves become a slow whisper. The distant water becomes a low, steady murmur. Together they form something like a lullaby. Not a song with notes, not something anyone could remember and sing, only a pattern of quiet sounds returning again and again. Rain, leaves, water, wind, rain, leaves, water, wind. You listen as the sounds fold into one another. The moss beneath you is cool and steady. The flowers around you are still. The stars above seem to shine more softly now, as though they too are listening to the forest's lullaby. Your breathing begins to follow it, slowly, naturally, peacefully. The stars remain clear above you, but as you rest, they seem to soften at the edges, not fading, only becoming gentler. Each one rests in the deep blue sky like a drop of quiet light. Some shine bright. Some barely show at all. The spaces between them feel wide and calm. You no longer need to search for patterns, no need to name them, no need to follow them anywhere. They are simply there, and you are simply here, held by the roots, sheltered by leaves, lifted above the sleeping green. The moon moves slowly behind a thin veil of cloud, and the garden becomes even softer, less sharp, more dreamlike. The whole night seems to breathe with you. A moonflower leans over the edge of the hollow. Its pale petals are between you and the sky. Beyond it, the moon glows softly, blurred by the thin curve of the flower. The petal edges shine silver. The veins inside them are delicate and calm. For a while, you watch the moon through the flower, the vast through the small, the far through the near, the sky through the forest. It feels like the whole journey has been leading to this simple view, not to a grand answer, not to a final secret, only to a quiet understanding that everything has been connected all along. The roots below, the leaves around you, the mist beneath, the moon beyond, all held in one peaceful night. The rain begins again below the canopy. You do not feel it here, not directly. You only hear it, a soft, distant hush, rising through the layers of leaves. The high garden remains mostly dry beneath its broad-leaf roof, with only the occasional droplet slipping through and resting on moss or petal. Far below, the rainforest drinks. Leaves darken, roots glisten, hidden pools ripple. The sound rises slowly and gently, never loud enough to disturb the place where you rest. It is comforting to know the rain is still there, still moving, still caring for the forest. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. Rain below, stars above, moss beneath, a quiet world breathing all around you. Your thoughts begin to drift downward, back through the hidden path, back along the wooden threshold, back inside the hollow tree, past the pool holding stars, past the root corridor, past the door hidden in vines, back along the branch paths and the moonlit ridges, back to the lower rainforest, where mist moves between trunks and leaves shines softly after rain. Every place remains there, not gone, only resting. The forest beneath you is full of quiet rooms, secret paths, and still pools waiting in the dark. You do not need to return to them now. They are safe below, stored in the night, stored in memory, stored like stars in water. You breathe out slowly. The garden above you is still. The rainforest below you dreams on. The sky garden grows quieter. The moonflowers lower ever so slightly, not closing, only relaxing into the night. The ferns stop trembling. The broad leaves settle. Even the droplets seem to hold still. The great tree beneath you no longer creaks. Or perhaps it does. But the sound has become part of everything else. Part of the lullaby. Part of the dark. Part of sleep. The stars remain above the open crown, calm, unhurried, kind. You feel the moss at your back, the cool air on your face, the shelter of leaves around you. The whole garden seems to be falling asleep with you, slowly and gently, one quiet breath at a time. A final silver line of moonlight crosses the garden. It moves slowly as clouds pass above, first over the leaves, then across the flowers, then along the roots beside you. For a moment, the path of light reaches the edge of the mossy hollow and rests there, as if the moon itself has followed the journey to its end. You do not need to follow it farther. The path is no longer asking you to move. It is only here to keep you company. The silver light fades a little as the cloud thickens again. The stars remain, the flowers remain, the moss remains, and you remain with them, held gently in the high green, where the rainforest and the sky have become one quiet place. The hidden rainforest rests beneath the stars. Far below, the mist curls between unseen trunks. Leaves hold rain, roots hold earth, pools hold sky, and high above it all, the sky garden rests in the crown of the ancient tree. You are held there quietly between the breathing forest and the endless night. Nothing asks for your attention now. Nothing needs to be understood. The journey has softened into stillness. The path has become memory. The stars have become gentle points of rest. The rainforest has become a deep green dream. You let the sounds fade together. Rain, leaves, water, wind, breath. The night grows softer, the garden grows darker, and the whole hidden world settles into sleep. You rest beneath the quiet sky. The moss is soft beneath you. The leaves are still around you. The moonflowers keep their pale faces turned upward, gathering the last silver light of the night. Above them, the stars shine gently. Below them, the rainforest breathes in mist and rain. There is nowhere else to go, nothing left to find. Only this high hidden place, only this soft green bed, only this calm blue night. Your breathing slows. The sounds of the forest drift farther away, becoming smoother, deeper, softer. The stars blur into quiet light. The moon rests behind the leaves, and the hidden rainforest beneath the stars holds you safely, gently, peacefully, as you fall asleep.